Do I go left or do I go right? Or do I go back to my comfort place where everything remains the same? No questions, no dramas, no pressure, cause the spotlight's not there and everyone can remain unaware of my issue. My true issue, oh, my face is somehow bruised. I don't know how I got so confused, but I need direction, probably correction. Would take me where I'm supposed to be. I'm not straight do I go. Lord, I'm at a crossroads. Which way do I go? Lord, I'm so frustrated. Going in circles, fighting against these battles that are eternal. They threaten my purpose, allow insecurities to resurface. So these issues change the direction of my worship. Lord, I'm awake now. Intention, halfway to my redemption. Oh, take me to freedom, take me to freedom, take me to freedom, take me to my promise of mine. Lord, I'm which way do I go?
Let's come in. As you're coming in, if you can put a like on the video as well. And just say hello. Let me know who's in the chat today. I'm going to start shortly. Just give me a little time. Okay, that was actually, again, one of my songs that I had written back in 2015 now, almost 5 years ago. And this was off of my EP. And it's interesting me playing this song because this song was actually a random song that I placed on my EP. I wrote it literally the week before I was supposed to release my EP, and it was literally reflective of exactly how I was feeling. I was literally feeling like I was in a crossroad. Where do I go? How do I get to where I need to get to? Like I just felt very conflicted, and this is actually when I went on an intensive journey of leaving Christianity and finding myself in a different way and things like that. But that was a little bit of background about that song. But I wanted to talk about today, 2020, and this is a crossroads that we're going into. We're going into a new year, a new, and I don't like to say new way of being or new way of this or whatever, because sometimes you say these things and it's nothing different. It's just the same thing that we're just repeating over and over again. But I guess you can be intentional with the newness that you want to be able to achieve in the coming year. And I'm going to be going through some tips on what you can really think about and what is it that you can really start to integrate um, into your own practice going forward into 2020. I'm going to be talking about a lot of personal growth tips today, and yeah, how you can optimize your personal growth for 2020. This is not going to be a long video or a long live, um, but I definitely wanted to get this up before we crossed over, just so that you guys have something that you can access and refer back to as well, and get some inspiration for 2020. So one of the things I wanted to talk about in regards to 2020 was being intentional. Now, oftentimes we are not intentional with what we're doing. We can sometimes have the zest, we can sometimes have the desire, we can sometimes have the zeal, but not apply the intention. Um, and so we can end up having all of these elaborate ideas and business plans and proposals and things that we can think about, all of the things that we could potentially do to bring us closer to our dreams and actualizing what is it that we know that we're meant to be doing on this earth. But without actually being intentional and seeing that whole thing through 100%, you're doing yourself an injustice. And if this is something that you haven't been able to maintain, that level of consistency with your intention, up until this point, this is something that you definitely want to be focusing on in regards to going forward into 2020. Like, really be intentional about what you're doing. Like, don't just be very, because with intention there's focus and there's clarity, there's all of these types of things. And if these things are not there, then what are you actually doing? You want to be able to make sure that whatever wherever you're utilizing your energy, it's being utilized directly to where it needs to be utilized and effectively, and all these types of things. So you definitely want to be intentional about everything you're doing going forward in 2020. um the second thing I wanted to say about 2020 is find a way to make your passion your source of income. For too long, a lot of us have been in a position where we're just getting by, or just doing things that we know will just pay the bills. But it's not even about just being able to pay the bills anymore. It's about being able to fully enjoy what you're doing, being fully embedded in what you're doing. There's so many people that you go to a shop, for example, who and the whoever's working there, they don't like their job, so however they're serving you, they're not going to be able to give you the best of what you would expect to receive. And so this is a lot of people are going into places not really being fully in the job that they're only just doing it to get by. And that has a knock-on effect, not only on themselves, on people that come to them or whatever, but just to bring it back to you. What is it doing to you to be able to be clocking into this job that you detest every single day? Like, how soul crushing is that? Like, how much does it crush your soul every day to be doing that same thing over and over again, knowing that you don't like it? So find a way to make whatever you're passionate about your your source of income. Like, what are you going to do in 2020 to make sure that you are actually happy about the direction of your life and what is everything that's happening in your life? Like, there's no part of your life that is just like, oh, whatever. Like, you want to be able to go to people, and when people say, what job do you do? Oh, I do this, and actually be fully proud about what it is that you're doing, being, feeling inspired. Like, that inspiration is able to filter out into other people as well. So you want to make sure that you're being fully authentic in what what you're doing to achieve money, and also find multiple streams of income, not just one stream of income. Most millionaires and billionaires, they have at least 7 streams of income. And sometimes if you're not in a world where you're trying to understand the different streams that are possible, it can almost think like, well, how can I make this money? Like, where can I get this money from? Is it just going to come out of thin air? When there's so many different things, there's drop shipping, um, there's the survey pay cash things, and there's so many different things. And I want to be doing another video that will go directly into this, and I want to be getting someone directly in finance to go even deeper into these areas so that we can be able to get our multiple streams of income up. Like, we're not just relying on one source and continually in a place where, we're constantly struggling and trying to survive. Like, survival is not a thing in 2020. We're living, okay? We're living effortlessly, not having to think about where the next money's coming from, how I'm going to be paying this next bill, all of this. Like, be intentional to where you can eradicate all of these mountains, all of these obstacles that you experience. And most of our obstacles that we experience are sometimes financial, or they are usually the foundation of a lot of our obstacles, because especially within our community that I'm speaking. And we're not able to accumulate that wealth, so we're not able to maybe experience some of the things that we may want to be able to experience, and then that creates a knock on effect, even in relationships. That's a major thing that creates a lot of chaos within relationships. So you want to make sure that you can eradicate all of these obstacles. What do I say? Dissolve the mountain so it doesn't exist. You don't have to be trying to find a way to get over this mountain and get around it. No, find a way to get rid of it. Okay. And financial literacy is something that we have to be looking into in 2020. Go and get yourself a financial advisor. Financial advisors, especially ones that work for the government, they are free. You can access them at any time. Go to your local government, go to your local council, wherever, and find your local financial advisor so you can understand how you can effectively be more practical in your finances, budgeting. Some of us, our money management skills are completely off, right? And we have to learn how to be able to manage these things. I wrote a post yesterday, and I said, imagine in the course of our life, we could put no, I said this. A lot of us will kill for £1 million, but potentially in the course of our life, we could potentially have £1 million that could pass through our hands, but we mismanaged it. And I'm telling you, it's not far-fetched. We look at these, and £1 million is not that much amount of money. It's really not. And when you begin to come out of this poverty mindset, and you start to, in a world where people don't have to deal with poverty, 1 million, what is 1 million to a billionaire? It's nothing. People see £1 million and like, oh, all these things I can get for £1 million. No, you can't. Like, that £1 million will be gone very swiftly. Trust me. It's not a lot of money, and it will blow. So you have to find ways of managing your income to where you're only spending what is necessary. And a lot of us do not spend what's necessary. And when it comes to finances, it's very much connected to mental health as well. So if you don't feel good, you may go on a retail therapy spree, which I personally just did. So I'm not exempt from this, trust me. But you have to learn how to. It's all good to play, like, because this is the thing. Oftentimes, some people can be very very the other way. So they hoard a lot of their money. They're very good savers. They're very good all of this type of stuff, but they're not able to live. There's no life behind them. They're not able to, go and enjoy experiences and stuff because they're thinking, oh my gosh, I need to save. But there's only so much money you could have in this life. So in everything, there is balance. So you have to make sure that you're achieving the balance of both of them. Hi, Latoya. Hoping you're well. I'm glad that you're in the live today. So let me get on to the next one. So oftentimes we may feel like, okay, well, I want to get here. This is my dream of where I want to get to, but I don't know how to get there. I don't have the knowledge. There's always ways to get that knowledge, whether you find ways to find that knowledge yourself, libraries, or going into specific places where you can get the right information, um, or connecting with the right people who can allow you to have access to that information. There is never any excuses for you not to get what you need, especially when it comes to knowledge. Knowledge is just it's there. It's just there to be accessed. So hi Universal Faith and hi Babel, hoping that you're well. So yeah, like really find just find whatever you need to find. Go wherever you need to go. A lot of the times where we will get stuck in our comfort zone, and it's almost I see it as a very childish thing. And please tell me when I say childish. I see it's almost like something a child would do, and I'm not saying childish in an insulting way, but when children you say, oh, where's your socks? I don't know. You never looked. You didn't even attempt to look, but you're telling me you don't know and you're getting upset. I don't know where it is. But like I said, all you have to do is just try. So we need to get out of this mentality of whenever we hit a block or a wall that we just shut down, and then we justify the wall shutting down. Again, linking back to what I was saying about dissolving a mountain and removing the mountain so the mountain doesn't even exist. So you have no excuses. What is your excuse now? So there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's always a way. And the next one is develop a strategy to get where you want to get to. Now, this is for those that are often very inspired and they have all the inspiration, all the ideas, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do, and then they'll try and do what they're trying to do, but they will struggle because there's no strategy. And all of this Capricorn energy and all this Earth energy is really pushing us to become more practical and more grounded, and especially in creating strategies. Like be like don't just do things. So for example, if you've got a business, right, and you want to be able to market that business, you can't just market that business just putting up posts randomly and thinking, oh, okay, that's me marketing. Where is your marketing plan? Like, what is your what platforms are you going to be using? How often are you going to be posting? What types of posts are you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing you're going to be doing social graphics? Are you going to be doing infographic? Are you going to be doing more informational graphics, like providing more information? Are you going to be doing more visuals? Are you going to be doing more? What are you going to be doing? Like, what is the strategy to ensure that people see you, and to ensure that you are in a space where people can engage with your brand? How are you able to do that? So the strategy, whatever it is that you're trying to do, it might not be a business, it might be I'm an artist and I want to be able to, you know, release some stuff and maybe get some managing contracts, or maybe I want to get a record deal, or whatever it is that you're trying to be achieving. Make sure that you've put in place a strategy to ensure that you can get to wherever you need to get to. So the next one is, okay, so realistic plan leads to your outrageous ambition. So it's okay for you to have outrageous ambitions. I mean, I have an outrageous ambition. I've literally planned out my next 10 years. And this is why I don't want to say too much. I often say, oh, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much. Where I'm at now is not even a glimpse of where I want to be in 10 years' time. But I had to be able to see, okay, yeah, this is outrageous without the plan, without the realistic plan, without the strategies, without all these things. Um, the outrageous ambition just seems like it's unachievable. But when you create a realistic plan to get there, now you can be like, oh, okay, my dreams can actually come true. It's actually a realistic dream. I just need to make sure that I've got these steps in place, and then I can get to here, and then I can get to here. And then once I get here, I can get here, I can get here, I can get here. This is why it's so good to make sure that you've got your foresight on point. Like this, especially now that we're coming into a new decade. Think about, now we're going into 2020. Think about 2030. What is the goals that you want to have for 2030 coming into 2020 that you can assess and be like, yeah, oh wow, this is what I've achieved in 10 years. Don't think about this is what I want to achieve in 2020. Well, yes, still think about that and still have that planning option in place, but make sure that you're seeing beyond just 1 year, because that adds to the intention, because you're you've taken you've taken more effort to plan out your direction and how you want your life to shape up in the long run. Like if we just do it year by year, you know, you've just got your year, but how do you maximize your growth and your expansion of where you're trying to grow if you're only doing it year by year or month by month? But still have those in place. Like I said, still do your month by month, do your year by year, but make sure you have your 10-year plans, your 5-year plans, your 2-year plans. What's next? Ooh. Find or create the right environment that will support your success. Now, this one's an important one. And I put both finding and creating because I think that's important. Oftentimes, we're very external beings. So sometimes we feel like I have to find a place for me to be at peace, forgetting that we can actually create that peace from within. And really that's where the peace really is. It doesn't matter that I've seen many people move from one country to the next, from one home to the next home, thinking, oh, this is where I'm going to find peace, still haven't found peace, because the real peace that you needed to find was inside. You didn't find that, you're running away from that to go and see if you can fill that void externally, and it will never work like that. But you have to make sure that you're intentional about the people that you want to have around you. So this is why, especially 2019, Pluto, Saturn just started clearing up a lot of the people around us, a lot of the relationships. We've lost a lot of relationships, and for the better, because we need to be able to make sure that there's no anchors around us, and there's no one who can sabotage where we need to go. And I want to be careful with how I say that as well, because some people can use that in a very narcissistic way and be like, oh, everyone's against me, everyone's trying against my success and whatever, and really it's you're the toxic one. And I've already done a video a few videos again talking about, am I the toxic one, where you can actually really find the balance in that. But some people you do need to be able to cut off, because they're not for your highest good. But you need to be able to see the mirror of even all of these people that are not for your highest good. What made you attract them? like what manifested that experience for you, because there's something that you have to learn within yourself. There's something in you that's projecting that out to begin with. So, it's always a balance, always a balance. Um, Manage bad experiences and don't get swept by them. I think this is a really important one. And especially with Jupiter coming into Capricorn, this is definitely going to be a theme for 2020, because um, especially this year, this is why we had to be clearing out a lot of our emotional gunk, so that we can learn to be a bit more emotional intelligent and be more in tune with what is it that we're actually feeling and the roots of what we're actually feeling. But sometimes we can sabotage ourselves because of our emotions. We haven't learned how to master our emotions. So, for example, you may have an audition that you need to go to, really, really big audition, but something big happened and it's made you feel really shitty. So you don't feel like you want to go anymore. So you're going to sabotage yourself and not go to that audition, because you feel that if you go, they're already going to feel like you're not good anyway, and you've talked yourself out of doing something that you know that you were supposed to be doing, and it was really down to your emotions. So 2020, we don't really have time for that. So you really need to make sure that you're managing your emotions, managing your bad experiences, making sure that every bad experience that you experience, you're tuning into them and really asking yourself, what is the lesson in this? Anytime something bad happens, ask yourself, what is the lesson, rather than going into, oh my gosh, 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 and all the anxiety and whatever else that comes with it. Ask yourself, what is the lesson here? What is the lesson here? And I guarantee you, just flipping that perspective and just being able to sit in to self and allow self to minister to you in that moment of chaos and calamity, it might just change some molecular structures a little bit. Because you're like, wow, it's really not that deep. I just created this for no reason. It really wasn't that deep. Hi, Amy. By the way, to everyone who's in the live now, if you can remember to click the like button, and if you're not subscribed, remember to click the subscribe button as well, as there will be a lot more content like this if you do resonate with this type of content. So what is the next one? Yeah, I've already did that. Oh no. So having better management over your finances and finding a way to make your income more than your outgoings. This one's important because sometimes we spend too much. We spend way too much, always spending, spending, spending. Like, I'm having to tap in and be like, okay, I have a spending limit now for the week and for the day. And I'm trying to stick to it. But I'm trying to literally just reduce the amount of spending and be like, okay, I don't need to spend today. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. Some things are just not necessary. Yeah, through that, you'll be able to retain much more of your finances going forward. So be mindful of that. The next one is just do it, right? Too much procrastination, and procrastination is linked to perfectionism, is linked to anxiety, is linked to solar plexus issues. Can also be sacral issues, but more so solar plexus issues. So this is just down to your own self-worth. Imposter syndrome can also fall into this. Your own self-sabotage can fall into this, of you not being able, of you procrastinating. Maybe it's the fear of success that maybe may make you procrastinate on doing some of the things that you need to do. I know that was definitely something for me. I testimony moment. I'm making some really big plans that I hope to announce in the next few months or so, hopefully before that. But I'm planning some stuff for 2021 and for 2022. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I really going to be able to do this? Is it going to work? Da, 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 da. Are people even going to come? Da, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I literally had to slap myself and be like, you see, that's just self sabotage right there. Because you would have just talked yourself out of doing something that you know you want to be able to do. Like, this is your dream, this is what you've seen, this is what you've always wanted to do. But you're just going to allow your own self talk to just talk you out of something. And I thought it was really interesting, and I'm glad that now I'm like, nah, I'm not dealing with that no more. Like, I see you for what it is, who you are, and I don't assign you. So it's just really learning how to take control of um even your inner chatter, like really taking control of that and owning that and being like, well, I know this is the chatter and I know this is the truth. Like, really learn how to isolate your mind in 2020, like compartmentalize your mind so you can actually know what's actually happening in each aspect of your mind and your psyche. Um, but make sure you don't procrastinate. Like, literally, as soon as something comes to you, like that you know that you need to do it at that moment. Do not wait. Like, I've had to bring myself into this pattern, because I know that if I don't, weeks, months, years, I'll keep going around in a cycle of I'll do it, and it never gets done. So I'm having to be accountable to that aspect of myself, and I just encourage you guys to be accountable to that within yourself too, because you want to make sure that you, by the end of like, one thing I'm really proud of this year is that I've achieved so much. In fact, I've achieved more than I actually set out to achieve. Like, I achieved more than the goals that I had set from this time last year. And I'm really, really proud of myself for that. And it was one particular thing that I needed to manifest, because I was like, yeah, once I know that manifest, then I know that there's a change happening, and that was happening. I was just like, oh my gosh, 2020 looks like a completely different world for me. But I had to, really be in tune with myself and make sure that I'm consistent in everything that I was doing. Consistency is another thing, because without consistency and without discipline, you won't get anything done, and you won't be able to feel the way that you want to be able to feel, because you're not actually being consistent. It's like it's like starting a YouTube channel. You may start a YouTube channel, and then you've put up 2 videos and you've got vexed because you've only got 4 subscribers and 6 viewers. Where's your consistency? Like, where is the it's because we like microwave results. And i'm 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 glad that I have it in me to just, I'm a Venus in Taurus and Mercury in Taurus, so I have a lot more endurability about me, that I can be like, okay, I can wait it out. I can wait it out, because I know in the long run everything will be okay if I play by the rules, if I'm consistent, if I'm sticking to my discipline, if I'm doing all these types of things. So the next one is, make sure you give yourself moments to reflect on the growth that you've already achieved. This one's important as well, because I literally said to my partner, we need to make sure we celebrate before 2020 comes, because there's so much that we need to celebrate and we haven't. Like, and it's funny because I was watching Tiffany Haddish's Black Mitzvah, and she was saying the same thing. Like, she'd worked this whole year and she never really celebrated. And I think that's really important, to make sure that you reflect, but also that you celebrate yourself. For the list, it doesn't have to be the big things as well, because we often look for the big things, like the big shifts, the big this, the big that, and we don't realize that it takes a whole culmination of things, that had this not been working with this and this and this and this, then you wouldn't have had this big shift. And I think that is really important, because especially for those like myself who your love language may be words of affirmation. I know that's a very strong love language for me. And so value um I do value appreciation and verbal appreciation, and um like people being like, yeah, I'm proud of you, like you did this, you did that. But if I'm not regularly saying to myself, like, today I did this and this is an achievement, like, I celebrate myself, there's going to be a certain level of void in me, and I can't expect anyone else to be able to fill that aspect within me. There is a balance, because we're not islands. We do seek validation in certain ways. It's just the the extremities of things that make things unhealthy. Again, everything in balance. But I think, yeah, really, really take moments, regular moments, maybe weekly, daily, weekly, and do this in a journal. Um, do this in a journal, like every day, if you can. Like, what have you achieved today? Like, what are you grateful for? For the month, for the year, and just regularly just do this, and just you'll see. I think because oftentimes we try to keep these things in our heads, and if we don't actually physically have a record of all of the things, the little things that we've achieved, we can literally go through life thinking that we've achieved nothing, and like being like, I don't have anything. Like, what is this? And then not realizing that there's a whole bag of things that we have, but we just haven't really given it that highlight and given it that shine that it needed. Um, the next one is create your own model and really be intentional about your authenticity. This one's important, and I did a post about those that are in business, or are thinking to create businesses for 2020. And it's important because I think a lot of people are seeing, especially on YouTube, you're seeing YouTubers and influencers have been able to get up and get into this crazy income game, like making crazy amounts of money on social media. And then you've got people thinking, oh, that's the new lifestyle now, I can be able to do that. And let me tell you something, if you think doing things the way that it's already been done is going to help you out in 2020, you're sadly mistaken. The only way you're going to be able to make it going forward is if you can find a way to express your individuality in a way that can impact the world, in a way that can connect with the world, in a way that the world can relate to. Um, so this is why I talk about making things like spirituality more relatable to the everyday person. The way that we speak about spirituality is wild. Like, sometimes, like, sit down and just listen to yourself speak for a moment. And then we always want to be like, oh yeah, but it's spiritual. Yeah, but things are still physical, and things still need to be able to, like, ground itself. And it's not to say that everything spiritual is going to make sense in a physical way, but we have to be able to ground what we're experiencing. Because oftentimes the reason why that happens, why we can't really say what we need, or say our experiences in a grounded way, is because we don't actually know what we're experiencing. We're just experiencing, and it's just like, ooh, 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 when we haven't taken time to really ground it all. And I really learned this, for those who know my experience with the glitch situation. I had to learn that a lot then, because it's not to take out that these things were I wasn't experiencing these things. These things were very much real, and they were very much confirmable, like in terms of the reality of it, of things that was the things that I was picking up. But I needed to find a way to ground what I was actually what I was seeing, what I was experiencing, and in a way that people would get it better. So yeah. The last one I wanted to say is be careful about the decisions you make. Um, you can literally be so ambitious that you don't realize that you're treading on people's toes. And this is going to be very major going, especially again with Jupiter in Capricorn, um, because Jupiter can be sometimes be very overzealous. It can be sometimes very extreme. Sometimes it can be very pompous, very almost feel entitled. Um, it's Zeus, right? Is that energy of entitlement, and Saturn is all about building yourself and success. And a lot of us, especially those that are going through our Saturn return right now, with Saturn in Capricorn, we're literally it's like we have this passion for success, this uncommon passion for success that you're determined to be successful in whatever way or capacity you can, right? um but we have to be careful that some of the decisions that we make are not made, like we can really make some unwise decisions by not um by thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, this is my empire that I want to build, and I'm only thinking about this, and this is this and this and this that I want to do, but then not thinking about the collective at the same time and how that affects other people, or um any of that. Again, it's this whole really deal with your entitlement, because even though yes, a lot of us want to be successful, we have to deal with this thing of um not feeling like you're entitled to success. And a lot of this can be karmic as well. If you guys want to say this as well, thank you to everyone who supported the moon signs prison of the moon workshop. But I went into some of the past life programming of the moon signs. And for example, a moon in Capricorn, you may have been someone um who was the business person, like had the suits and the ties and that whole lifestyle, city lifestyle, um, authority, was an authority in somewhere. And so you can come into this life with this expectation that you're gonna live that out again, but oh, only your ascendant will be able to determine whether you'll be able to whether this lifetime you're going to be carrying out that same success, or if you're having to be living a different experience, or leaning to more different experiences. But yeah, really deal with our sense of entitlement, and just really be mindful of the people around us, the and not too much, because sometimes, okay, we have been very mindful sometimes. Gemini, I have to do the flip of everything, but you don't want to be, you want to be mindful of people, but you don't want to be so mindful that you give yourself anxiety, or what it is that you're trying to do. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to. If you feel like, if you have that anxiety and you're like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, you end up doing that anyway. So you want to be aware of all these things. Someone just said, sorry, but what's wrong with Vedic astrology? To me, the Greeks copied and changed astrology. Vedic astrology, it's linked to the movements of what is known as lost stars. There's no fixed point. So the stars are always going to be moving away, which is why, like, your sign, so if you're Gemini in Vedic, you're Taurus, but there's no fixed nature to it. But Vedic was only a tool that was supposed to be it was an assistive tool. It wasn't supposed to be the only astrology to be used. Western astrology, people don't realize, Western astrology brought the concept of interpretations. We wouldn't have horoscopes if it wasn't for Western astrology. So there's certain things that we be like, oh, Western's bad, Western's bad, Western's bad. Western astrology is evolution, so to speak, of astrology. Some people won't like me to say that, but it's the truth. Like, without Western astrology, we wouldn't have the ability to cast a chart, like with houses. The houses system came from Western astrology, so that gives us a bit more understanding as to how that deals with us on a personal level as opposed to on a collective level, which is what more ancient astrology does. But yeah, I'm going to be jetting off shortly. If there's any questions, I'll stay on a little bit longer to ask these questions. But I'm hoping that this live was um, a lot of food for thought for you. And I'm hoping it is the inspiration that you needed just to kind of put a bit of fuel up your ass for 2020 and just to get your groove going, because this year is literally what you make it, right? You, again, intention. Like, you become the magician, you become the alchemist, you take control of everything that's going around you and begin to create that into something that you're intentional about. You wanted to create this reality, not you're expecting this reality to happen to you, right? Really be intentional about what it is that you want to be doing in 2020. And I'm excited. There's so much potential for us in 2020 and beyond. Remember, 2020 is a leap year. 2020 is a quantum leap. You're going to see so much advancements, especially in technology. A lot more AI stuff coming in. And this is why I'm speaking up a lot about self-employment and entrepreneurship, because everyone's getting scared. Oh my gosh, all of these AIs are taking our jobs. Duh. What do you do if they're taking your jobs? What do you do? Create your own. Don't rely on someone else to create a job for you. This is the evolution that we're going into. There's more people that are going to be self-employed. That's just a reality. This is why I keep saying, you're in a retrograde. Have you got the memo yet? Reality has changed, but you need to catch up. Don't think that the things that was happening how many years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, these things is because you expected it to work this way, you're expecting it to work going forward. No, things are changing, things are evolving, and you have to be able to get with that program. So that is my encouragement to you for 2020. I'm hoping you found it beneficial. Again, I am doing my year ahead readings at the moment. Sorry, my year ahead reading. So if you are finding any confusion, any type of anxiety about 2020, you don't know what you don't even know what 2020 is about. You don't know where to go. You just feel it, or maybe you do have an aspect of you have an idea of what it's going to be like, but you just still feel unsure. Then you can hit me up on my website. I'll be going through, so the year ahead readings, they are a mixture of your astrological charts, your astrological transits. Sorry, I'm tired, guys. Your astrological transits, and it's coupled with intuitive guidance. I'll be doing oil readings or tarot reading, whatever I feel led to do within that time. And hopefully that will be able to guide you forward. In fact, not even hopefully, it will. I have to learn how to be confident in my work now, because again, imposter syndrome. Like, every single session I have has never been a dud session, so I don't even know why I have to keep saying this whole thing of hopefully. Humbleness, but yeah, still be sure in your gift. I'm still going through my battle too, guys. So you literally just saw that just out there. Oh, thank you, Amy. How to deal with fear and unlocking psychic abilities. I'm so scared of the hack concept. I'm thinking you're talking about hacking. Fear. How to deal with fear is facing it. That's the only way to deal with fear. Because if you run away from fear, you're acting in fear. So the only way to deal with it is to face it. The only way out is through. So face your fears, wherever that fear may be. Literally, you have to face that demon, just like Hercules and the 9-headed monster. Every time every time he cut off a head, another one grew out with more heads and stuff. Like, he had to face his fear and realize that he was more powerful than what he was actually interacting with. So a lot of this is um is it's all mental. I always talk about the power of the mind, and the mind is the most powerful wand, right? Wand, a manifester, right? You don't need anything else but your mind. So a lot of us will be spending a lot of money investing into tools and equipment that we don't actually need, because all that you need is your mind. And if you find that, you know, you're the person who invests in all of the oils and all of the crystals and all of the courses and all of the this and all of the that, and you're still not manifesting, it's probably because your mind isn't right. And so you're spending all of your money, unfortunately, for no reason, because you have the most instrumental tool is not altogether. So um unlocking your psychic abilities is acknowledging that you're already psychic. We all have an intuitive nature within us. Silence yourself, pay attention to that voice. We all have that inner voice that tells you, oh, don't go left, go right. Like, but it's also about learning how to find that balance. And I talk about that in between finding the balance between your intuition and emotions, because they're not the same thing. I will be doing a more specialized course on this in regards to your psychic abilities. I do have the intuitive chakra healing course on the Inner Realms Academy, but I want to redo that again properly on better for this year, because that was like my first launch that I did. It was kind of like a tester. And I'm having a bit issues with my laptop, so I'm having to do more workshops than do uploads. So yeah, I will be doing another workshop on that more in depth. But I will be doing the next workshop that I'll be doing. I did announce this on my last video, but I will be doing workshops monthly now that you can register for on my private platform. The next workshop I will be doing will be on the rising signs, so on the ascendant signs. So just like I went deep into the moon signs, and I'm so grateful for some of the messages that came back, because you know, people were like, wow, you literally went really deep, you know, into even places, some of the places that with your moon sign, again, it's to do with your past life, that you can have an idea of what location you may have been in as well, because astrology links to location as well. So it's a lot that you can do with it. But yeah, so the moon signs workshop, you will be, if you missed that, you can still purchase the workshop. I did have it recorded. I do have the link. I'm trying to get it on my academy, but I'm having a bit of issues because of all of the technical madnesses that I'm going through right now. But you can still have access to the link of the workshop and get the replay of the workshop if you so wish. But the next workshop I will be doing is on the rising signs, on the ascendant sign, and that is linked to your soul's mission, and again, past lives as well. A lot of the placements are different perspectives, and it almost unravels the story more and more and more. So yeah, I will be going into that next month. I need to release the date. I can't remember the date. In fact, I can actually pick it up now. The date will be on the, if I can find it, no, it's not. On the 18th of January, it will be. So the 18th of January, I will have the understanding your soul purpose, which is going into more into, sorry, your soul mission, going more into your ascendant sign. Um, and yeah, you can actually, I'm sure you can sign up for it on my website now. I think I've got the link up. If not, I would like to have an email of everyone who would be able to or who would like to come on the workshop. You can email me on soul reconnection in soul reconnection info at gmail.com. That's soul reconnection info at gmail.com. You can also have access to my website, www.soul-reconnection.com, and all of the information should be on there anyway, but I need to make sure that that link is on there. But again, if you want to get on the course, email me first. And yeah, there's so much stuff I have planned for 2020. I've literally been putting the work in. So I really, again, want to focus a lot of my attention, especially on those that are going to be creating YouTube channels as well, and those that are going to be going into business. I will be going deeper into marketing, as I'm going to be going into study. I'm going back to study this year. I guess I can say that now, but I will be going back to study, which is quite scary for 2020. And I'll be going, yeah, I'll be doing a marketing course. Am I going to do another interview with Osset? Yeah, I mean, she has said, there's some stuff that she wanted us to collaborate on. So I'm sure that there will be more opportunities for us to be able to do that. I guess it's holiday season, so everyone's just going through their own little busyness right now. But yeah, I'm sure 2020 there'll be much more opportunities for us to collaborate. And yeah, I'm just grateful that you guys actually value that collaboration. As yeah, it's really awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna start my little, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I do like the holidays. It's an opportunity for us all to be at home and have little movie time and don't have to worry about getting up in the morning. So yeah, I'm gonna get off and start enjoying my little holiday period, and I hope that you guys enjoy yours. Hopefully I'll do another live, hopefully before the end of the year. But if I don't, I will see you guys on the other side nonetheless. So yeah, all love and see you guys soon.